Are you ready for some fireworks? An explosive financial summer? Well, there's about to be a colossal collision that brings together the two groups that legacy finance is oh so scared of: crypto and degenerate stock traders, like the ones from Wall Street Bets and beyond. So my question to you is this: do you smell what GME is cooking? I do, because it's time for Chico Crypto. Everybody in the club knows about GME, GameStop stonk. It's what set off the financial fireworks at the beginning of this year. January 2021, a short squeeze of the stock of the American video game retailer GameStop caused major financial consequences for certain hedge funds and large losses for those nasty short sellers. It was a short squeeze that was primarily triggered by the users of the subreddit r/WallStreetBets, but soon after, a number of hedge funds also participated. At its height on January 28th, the short squeeze caused the GME stock price to reach a pre-market value of over US $500 per share. That is nearly 30 times the $17.25 valuation at the beginning of the month. Now this battle is far from over. As you can see, the stock price got wrecked right back down to below $50 just past mid-February, but then it started to rise once again, and into March it broke back above $300, although the fight is starting once again and it's settled back down below that. Looking at the price today, GME is 222 buckaroos. So since March, it's consolidating and finding a range before the next big move. And Chico Crypto thinks that move is way the freak up. Another massive short squeeze is on the horizon. There are hints that it is coming this summer. What hints? Well, don't you remember last week when the news dropped about GameStop getting into crypto with the mysterious release of a landing page, nft.gamestop.com. It shows a GameStop video game cartridge with an Ethereum logo on it that gets plugged into an Ethereum game player. This causes it to power up and read: power to the players, power to the creators, power to the collectors. Exciting to say the least. Now are you ready to dive into the Chico Crypto rabbit hole, which is gonna get really tight? Squeezable tight? Well, let's begin. Before the first squeeze even happened. Last year, November of 2020, Ryan Cohen, founder of Chewy.com and the former CEO, disclosed to the public his large stake in GameStop, nearly 10%. And he sent this letter to the board of directors. He explained in bold they were failing because of their unwillingness to embrace the digital economy. Yeah, digital, the non-physical world. Then once again, in bold, this was said: GameStop's leadership must promptly pivot from a brick and mortar mindset to a technology-driven vision. Ryan specifies what that means below: a pivot towards becoming a technology-driven business that excels in the gaming and digital experience worlds. He says this could be done by cutting its excessive real estate costs and hiring the right talent. It will have the resources to begin building a powerful e-commerce platform that provides competitive pricing, broad gaming selection, fast shipping, and a truly high-touch experience that excites and delights customers. Well, that letter shook the board to the core, as Ryan is now in charge of that board, the chairman of the GameStop board. Now, going back to what Ryan said in the letter, a lot of what he said relates a ton to what was just released, nft.gamestop.com. NFTs are the future of the gaming digital economy. Ryan said GameStop was failing as they weren't embracing this digital economy. Ryan wanted a technology-driven vision, which included hiring the right talent. Okay, bringing Ryan on board was the first step to that. And since Ryan has been on a spree, getting top talent from the best: Amazon, Chewy, Facebook, Google, and more. But there were some big hires made for this NFT-based project too, which I think relates more to this letter and vision. Matt Feinstein announced he would be building the blockchain division for GameStop through his Twitter just last week. But who is Matt? Matt was the business development director for Loopring, the creators of the first publicly accessible ZK rollup for the Ethereum mainnet, which has been live and evolving for 18 months now. It's a well-known and secure scaling solution that even Vitalik called out for users to start using it in September of 2020. So Loopring is a strong Ethereum project technically, and Matt is the top talent that helped get it to where it is today. But who else has been hired? Well, a Fubar tweeted he had joined Matt in early May, even before the announcement. Who is Fubar? Well, he is a top NFT Solidity talent, working on some of the bigger Ether NFT projects, from his profile, Mooncats, and CryptoPunks. The other person we know that is hired is Spike on Twitter, a top talent NFT designer who has done some work recently with Decentraland. So obviously this vision of Ryan's is in motion, a plan that he had a long time ago, and his plan includes the definitive future of gaming and digital worlds through NFTs. So what is GameStop's initial plan for these NFTs? Well, it's obvious from the landing page. It's an Ethereum GameStop cartridge getting plugged into an Ethereum-based game player. They're going to be turning video game titles into NFTs, and these NFTs are powered by Ethereum and its virtual machine. Purchasers will be able to finally sell their used digital games, which has been impossible in the past. The retailer and the studios thus could get royalties after every secondary sale forever. It all sounds good, but how will they get those publishers, studios, and more on board? There's a lot of power in the hands of Xbox, PlayStation, and more. Well, what did that player say when the game was turned on? Power to the players, power to the creators, power to the collectors. Obviously, GameStop is going to be pulling a Netflix. What does that mean? Well, they will be pushing to get the smaller studios on board first, and then they will be creating, in partnership with some of them, their own content, their own games. Thus, GameStop is going to be pushing forward the first use case of NFTs at a massive scale. This doesn't just put them as a leader in the digital gaming space, but a leader in NFTs, which means they will even have an upper hand on the digital landscape of gaming than something like Steam. So this is big, but when could something like this be coming, and why would it cause a GME stonk squeeze? Well, the NFT website below had an Ethereum address. Using Etherscan and checking out the address, it's for a token, Gamestop GME. A token? Now why would they need their own token, Gamestop GME? Unless they were planning to do something else besides NFTs. You can click on the contract within Etherscan to check out the code, and within this you can find GameStop Anon written at the top. But further down into the code, you can find this, UINT public launch date equals 1626261600. And those string of numbers is a Unix timestamp, and if we convert it, the public launch date is coming July 14th, 2021. That is only in a month and a half, my friends, and if you go back to Fubar's tweet, who was brought on for the project, he said it's going to be huge from the start. But as always, there's more to this than meets the eye, and GameStop gave some big hints on the day they dropped the landing page. On the page is the biggest hint of all. There is a tiny white dot in the corner. If you click that, it takes you to a new page that has what was in the Ethereum source code. Game on Anon, but also a cat in a banana suit, which is a game. You press space to start and it's you on the moon jumping over moon stuff. Why is this important? Well, that cat in the banana suit is from a Japanese animated series, Bananya, where these entities, Bananyas, come from a magical tree in outer space. The series ended in 2016 and its popularity isn't anything new, it's old. So why does GameStop have a Bananya in the game on the NFT website? Well, as you can see, they have a plush toy that was recently released on a funny date of 420. It's a GameStop exclusive, and as we can see in the description, it's squeezable. That game is a total hint of a squeeze on the GME stonk that is coming. It's coming on or around the Unix timestamp they hinted at in the code, July 14th, 2021. But why the squeeze? What is going to happen? It's not going to happen just because of Banana. Well, the GME token is not a token just for NFTs, it's a token for crypto dividends that will be announced on that day, July 14th. GME is pulling an overstock. What happened with overstock? In the summer of 2020, they announced a crypto dividend to be paid to its shareholders. This caused a massive short squeeze on their stock. Why? Well, overstock was the sole source of that crypto, and they did not distribute it to the public before. When they announced a dividend, there was zero supply for that crypto. Shorts were 100% incapable of covering the cost of paying the dividend, and the only option they had was to cover. They got wrecked. Overstock shot up 500% and beyond. So the shorters, hedge funds, etc. went after Overstock, filing lawsuits. But judges ruled in favor of the stock, thus cementing that this digital dividend is good to go. And finally, there is this hint from the person pulling it all off, Ryan Cohen. At the same exact time the contract was released for the NFTs and token, Ryan tweeted something. This tweet is a clip from American Dad with one of their characters getting a hard-on in shorts, which floats them to the top. Short floats? Short float shows the percentage of shares that are shorted relative to the number of float shares, and this percentage reflects a market sentiment about the underlying company. Ryan was tweeting, "Shorts are about to get wrecked." Cheers, I'll see you next time.